All right, folks, it's Thursday night. Welcome to Hunting the Rut Hotline with Don Bell. Folks, you got questions. We're going to have some answers tonight. Folks, my name's Don Bell.
I'm Rusty Andrews.
And we're going to talk about hunting the rut tonight. Can you believe that the season's almost over with? It's crazy.
I hadn't even been hardly yet.
Well, folks, when you're working all the time, it's hard to do that. But let me tell you, it is February, I think Tom said the 5th. Thank you very much. It's the 5th, and believe it or not, season goes out in Alabama, what is it, Tuesday?
The 10th. Yep.
Yeah, the 10th. I think it's Monday or Tuesday. Mm-hmm. And a lot of you, by the far majority of the people listening tonight, Rusty, they're done.
Yep.
Season's through with, but we're down here in the peak of the rut down here in South Alabama. Alabama, for all intents and purposes, is done. Last year they opened up the southern part of Alabama
For an additional 10 days.
That's right, and we've got that, so we're in that, and we're starting to see some bucks run some does good, and we're going to actually try to slip out here tomorrow and try to go up in South Alabama up there and see if we can take us one of them bucks run them does. Mm-hmm. And folks, let me tell you, we always try to put it in perspective, Rusty, what this is all about. And by the way, Rusty's filling in for Steve tonight. That bad boy is in the woods, would you not believe it? And he's going to try to call in a little bit out of the woods, so he's trying to find a mountaintop or a high tree to get in to be able to call in a little later on the show.
Get a little signal.
That's right, get a little signal. But folks, listen, it is always important to remember what this is all about. And we want to show you something. I had the opportunity last weekend, Rusty, back up there in South Alabama, in Furman, Alabama, and we had a young man that's 19 years old, and he grew up in Germany and France and Europe.
Basically city.
And he hadn't been around. His father flies for FedEx, and so he hasn't had the opportunity to get out in the woods and hunt. His father is a ex-Marine and outdoorsman, loves to hunt. The old boy can shoot good, the young man. His name is Daniel, and I think they're going to throw a picture up, and I want to remind everybody what this is about. I want you guys out there to look at this, and I don't know if guys, can you zero in on crop it at all to see the picture? If not, you can see this young man there, and you can tell this is his first buck. And the truth of the matter is, Rusty, we weren't in the stand 10 minutes. And this old buck come across there trailing, and he missed him the first shot, but he shot that deer about 125, 30 yards with a 22-250. And if you were to zoom in on that, you can tell him he made a perfect shot right there high in the shoulder with that, and dropped him like a sack of concrete.
And that made his day.
Oh, the young man grew. You could see him jump, folks, anybody's had that experience to be able to show a young man or a young girl, take them hunting, and be with them for the first time that they take an animal.
And help them
mature.
Learn and mature and how they learn to hunt.
It is
the excitement.
And the maturity. Mm-hmm. And those of you that are listening, the young man right there in the center right there, closest to the buck, that's a little 8-point, the first buck he ever killed. It's a nice little buck for him. And he was just excited, grew 6-8 inches in maturity. The young man in the very back happens to be my son, Derek Bell. Derek's 31, and he's a heck of a trapper too, Rusty.
Oh yeah, I know.
Oh, he follows after my father, and fine young man. I got to brag on him.
Traps all over.
Traps all over, and several states. And but Daniel, he's 19. That's his first buck he ever killed. And folks, that's what this is all about. This show, we're talking to everyday folks just like you listening, and it's about learning how to hunt, understanding that animal. And Rusty, when he shot that buck, he missed him, and he was quartered away from him. And I told him, I said, now, he showed him how to shoot him, and he missed him, and he wheeled and went out of the plot. And he said, oh man, I missed him. I said, wait a minute, he'll come back in the plot. Mm-hmm. And he said, well, he's gone. I said, no, just a second, he'll come back and run them does. And it wasn't 5 minutes, and he come running back in there and slammed on brakes, broadside, and one shot, he went down like that. So proud moment, and all of you out there that's seen that and hear us talking about it tonight, they've lived it too, Rusty.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, it's nothing like a child
growing up
in the woods.
That's right.
And learning it.
And he had to do the whole 9 yards. That was the agreement. He's a fine young man, a good shot, but that was his first deer, and the agreement was he had to help dress it, had to help gut it, had to help cut it up. And to his credit, he jumped right on in there and did it. He didn't hesitate a bit.
That's what it's all about.
That's what it's all about. And so, folks, that's what this show's all about. And listen, we're going to take callers tonight. It is February the 5th. We're winding this thing up as far as Alabama season. Of course, we're down here in Pensacola, where Portland Outdoors is where we film this show. And doggone it, Florida doesn't end till February the 28th. The last of the month. So they still got another 3 weeks of season left. So in 3 weeks, we'll end this show up as far as the hunting season for 2014-15. And then, folks, we're going to talk to you about what deer are doing when season's over, when you typically put your bow or gun up. Those bucks keep living. And we're going to show you and talk to you and walk you through each week what bucks are doing and deer are doing in the state that you live in, to where you can better understand that, old boy, when season comes in. That's what this show is going to be about. And listen, we're going to take a commercial break. When we come back, we're going to take some callers, and we're going to try to catch up on some Facebook, and we're going to see if we can get Steve, like a big old coon, up at the top of that tree. see if he can get a signal and call into us. Folks, stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Rise and shine. It's time to hunt.
That's right, you're going to read the Facebook. Okay, folks, listen, we're glad to have you back. And look, we're going to start out.
I can see that far.
You can't see that far. Well, I'll see if I can get them. Doggone it, look at there. Our first Facebook, folks, we're going to try to catch up on these Facebook questions. The first one is from John Helmers from Camden, Alabama. Heck, he's 10 miles. Yeah, he's 10 miles from where Steve is up in that tree tonight, and he's going to be about 19 miles where my butt's going to be tomorrow. God willing, I can get out of here tomorrow morning. You know what that means, don't you?
Yeah.
All right. John wants to know, what is the best way to get a rutting buck during daylight hours? Guys, listen, John and everybody, as we're ending this season as we started out. The rut is from the time a buck sheds his velvet all the way to the time he drops his antlers, which means in most states a buck is in rut when season opens, and that is certainly true, Rusty, in Alabama.
Yeah.
Because, you know, they're out of velvet when season opens October the 15th, and of course, Tuesday they still got horns in Alabama. So they're in rut, as they are in most places in North America. Certainly where John is hunting there in Wilcox County in Camden, Alabama. And old John, you know you and hunting in a good place. Wilcox County, in fact, where we hunt and where Steve hunts and where I hunt is called the Golden Triangle. And that's where Wilcox, Dallas, and Lowndes counties come together. It's like 3 counties touch. And they call it the Golden Triangle. Hey, folks, if you go to the Alabama Record Book and pull up the Golden Triangle, Wilcox, Dallas, and Lowndes County, you're going to see where all these big bucks are being killed out of, not just now, but historically, Rusty, through the years. And so, John, keep in mind, in daylight hours, when you say a rutting buck, that's the entire hunting season. I'm assuming what John, and I'm going to make an assumption, Rusty, that he's probably talking about rutting buck, meaning when a buck's chasing a doe.
Yeah. And start building his house.
That's right.
The rutting.
That period. But if you're talking about, like, we'll give you an example here, just like when the young boy Daniel the other day got up in the tree, and we were sitting there and explaining to him that buck come through. In fact, we just had a little basket buck come through ahead of him, and you know, and he was just searching. He hit that and was just gone through there. I mean, he had his nose down, just going through. They're looking. And so, John, when they're running bucks like that, you know, you want to get high and get still, because they're going to be searching like that and do it. So you want to get in your location and get still, unless he's hunting a scrape, a primary scrape. So, you know, John, more specifically, if you call back in and tell us, you know, hey, are you hunting a scrape? You know, are you hunting a primary, secondary scrape, Rusty? And of course, you know, you want to be able to grunt the old boy. In fact, we're going to show a buck here in just a little bit. If Steve can get out of the top of that tree, Mike, his brother, killed a fine buck using top secret, and he's using some of the new product that we just introduced at the ATA, which is the scent defense. And I think he was using
field spray.
Yeah, the field spray, and I think he had used the shampoo
body wash,
and the detergent.
Oh, wow.
And
I love it.
yeah, so it's guys. So John, hunting the rut, from the time he sheds velvet to the time he drops his antlers, folks, you will hear us preach that. Now, everybody else, as we go into season ending, Rusty, we're in post-rut, the winding down in Alabama, and for most part, really peak winding down even in Florida here. But as season goes on and season ends, we're going to get out of that and we're going to start talking about what bucks are doing, because bucks are going to start getting back together in bachelor groups. So John, call us back and let us know specifically if that answered your question or whether or not he's talking about hunting a scrape. But when them bucks starts running them does, at that point, just like that buck the other day, they're just all over the place. Let's see, we got time for another Facebook? All right, Big Robert Fair from Ashland, Ohio. You know Robert is one of our club members.
Yeah.
And Robert, in fact, was one of our first club members.
He's Robert's called in a time.
Yes, he has. And Robert's serious about hunting now. And Robert's faithful with them. And that's the way you got to be, folks. You got to stay on them, understand them. If you understand that old boy, you can kill him. You can understand what he does. It's sort of like Derek trapping. In order to trap a coyote, you got to know what that coyote's doing and the way he travels to think about it. So you got to understand the animal to get to him. So Robert's got a question out of Ashland, Ohio. Why do bucks make scrape in my woods when they end up miles away from his bedroom chasing does? That's not a hard question. Robert, it's easy. Once that old boy makes that master bedroom, which is, Rusty, a primary scrape, and he's checking it. That's the one he's marking, and the reason he marks it, and we talk about how a buck marks a scrape, old neck swollen, he'll come in there and urinate over his tarsals, rub them back hocks together, urinate in the scrape. Well, what he's done is he's marked his master bedroom. Now, old doe, she comes downwind, and by the way, folks, if this is the scrape where Rusty and I are sitting, and the wind's going that way, which way's downwind? That way. So old Buck's over there, old Rusty's over there, and you get up in the tree and grunt, he's got three defenses: ears, eyes, and most important being his nose. So what he does is, he don't just come in, most deer's gonna go downwind. Now, the reason that buck checks that scrape downwind, he's not checking for his urine, because what'll happen, a doe will come in, and if she likes what she smells, Rusty, she's gonna do one or two things. And it sounds pretty crazy, but she'll come in and she'll urinate in that scrape, and or she'll put droppings in it, sort of like a business card. And so, and all you guys watching, you know that you'll find droppings in a scrape. And a lot of times you may think it's buck droppings, but what happens, that doe comes in and she'll either urinate in that scrape, Rusty, and put droppings in it or in and around the scrape. The buck goes downwind, and the reason he's going downwind, he's wanting to smell that calling card. That's what he's checking for. So what happens, what Robert's asking is, why then, once he has the scrapes, he sees all the scrapes, why are they miles away? Well, once the peak of the rut starts, and they really start chasing them does, the peak especially, because there's does everywhere. It's like them bucks was that Daniel shot the other day. There was bucks doing this through that area. They're looking. And so what happens is, they find that 26-year-old, 24-year-old brunette that's going through the woods there, and they're following her. And if she goes across town, he's going to go across town with her. The next thing you know, he's across town in your backyard. And that's a no-no.
He's on the wrong side of the tracks.
He's on the wrong side of the tracks. And, and not on the wrong side of the tracks, but in the wrong house, down the hall in the wrong bedroom. And so he's just following that old boy. So Robert, that's a pretty common deal. Once they start chasing, especially during the peak, they're still checking that scrape, but he may catch a doe here and get off of that master bedroom, get out in the yard and follow her down the block. And that's what's happening during the dead peak. You still hunt that scrape, but man, they'll get on that doe and stay. And many of you know this. You've seen it, Rusty. They'll run that doe and hem that doe up, and if that doe gets tired, she'll lay down, he'll lay down. Just like a dog and watch her. She gets up, he gets up. So
stay right with her.
follow her across town, and that's how things get messed up. But that's Robert. That's the reason that happens. I believe we got a caller on the phone. I believe we do. Let's see if we do. Alrighty, let's see who we got here. Alrighty, you got Don Bell and Rusty Andrews. Who we got?
Ryan Mealy.
Ryan, where you from?
I'm from New York.
New York.
New York, north of Syracuse.
North of Syracuse. What county are you in?
We're in Oswego County.
How far are you from Finger Lakes, Tioga County?
Finger Lakes, probably about an hour and a half.
North? You south of there, aren't you?
We are north. I'm up in between Watertown and Syracuse, right on the east end of Lake Ontario.
All right. Well, look. You know where Canton, New York is?
I do.
All right. And then not everybody know where Canton, New York is, do they? Because that's right there on the Canadian line, about 8 miles from Canada. Hilltop Archery. In fact, we're going to be up there this fall doing a seminar. You ought to run up there, and we'll post it on our Facebook, and we'll mention it on the show this year. And you ought to run up there, and we'd love to meet you live.
Okay.
Hey, what kind of question you got tonight?
Yeah, I use your deer scent a different way than what my father uses it. He squirts it on a cotton ball.
Right.
And I was just curious, what's the best way to use it? I mean, I've sprayed it right on the ground. And I saw a doe personally walk right up to it and smell it, but that was probably pre-rut. And then during the rut, I had a 4-point just about running me over, but I tried that, spraying it onto my boots and just walking around. But I'm not sure if I'm utilizing it the best way that I should be, or...
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. How old are you?
I'm 28.
All right. You've asked a good question. Two parts to that question. And I apologize. Your first name again is?
Ryan.
I thought it was Ryan. Ryan, good question. First of all, you never want to put scent on you and on your person, and you certainly never want to put it on your boots. And here's why. It's not a complicated thing. It's not because a deer will chase you, which they will. In fact, wasn't it last week's show, Tom, we had the dealer called in where a young man your age, he literally, did you watch that show last week, Ryan?
No, sir.
Well, go back, and all these shows are archived. You can go to the site and look at it. Last week we had a boy about your age. He come in from school, went hunting, did something similar to what you did, and he literally had to shoot the buck 5 yards from him to keep him from running over him. And so, but that's not, though that'll happen from time to time. The reason you don't put it on your boot is because your boot's on your foot's in the tree.
Okay.
And so the closer the deer gets to you, let's say, Ryan, you get out of your truck and you walk to your truck to your stand, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. So are you elevated? Are you in a tree stand?
I've done both. I've been in a tree stand, and I'm down on the ground as well quite a bit.
Well, if you're on the ground, it's not such an issue if you're on the ground. But if you're in the tree, what happens is, so here I am, see my hand, a buck's following you in. I'm the buck, I'm following you in. The closer I get to him, Rusty, the higher in the wind I'm smelling. And what I'm doing is I'm picking it up, and look at my head. Behind my nose is my eyes. And what happens is, Rusty, that buck, you're making that buck look at him. Mm-hmm. And so, because it's on your boot, he's smelling it high. So you make him look at you up in a tree. And
okay.
It sounds crazy and people laugh at me, but deer don't urinate that high up in a tree. They urinate on the ground. And though that sounds silly, we as humans, we try to put scent high thinking that it'll go further, but there's no need.
Okay.
Deer live with their nose 365 days a year by urinating on the ground. And when season ends, they'll smell it just as far on the ground as they will up in a tree. The only difference is we're going to make them look up. As a general rule, I tell people never put scent more than waist high. If you put it waist high, then he's looking like this, not looking like this. And so now your dad uses it on cotton balls. Does he use a canister, or does he just put it up in the tree or on the ground coming in?
Jeepers. I think he just puts it on the cotton ball, or maybe he hangs it on a tree before he climbs up in his tree stand. I think it's probably, 50 to 100 yards from where he's at.
Right. Well, the reason I ask that is that, top secret, we're oxygen free from collection of the bottle, which means the first time, Ryan, you open that bottle is the first time it sees oxygen. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
So what you've got here is, I'm looking for this bottle right here. You can see how that happens to be buck urine, but you can see how yellow it is, right? Now,
Yes.
So the first time it sees oxygen is when you open it. So all right, let's take your dad, for instance. Your dad opens this, and he pours it on a cotton ball, and he hangs it up. And he hunts with it till, 3 or 4 hours, or all day for that matter. The first time it hits oxygen is when he pours it out. As the day progresses, it starts to ammoniate. Oxygen ammoniates deer urine. It basically tells the other animal, Rusty.
Deer was here.
That's right. How long it's been since that other deer was there. Now what happens, Ryan, a lot of people, Rusty, and a lot of scent companies, and you know them,
Yeah.
they put it in film canisters, Ryan. Or they'll have a scent canister and they pour it in that scent canister. Some of them's got wicks that you pull up and then you roll back down. Have you seen those kind of scent dispensers?
Yes, I have.
The problem with that is, Ryan, is that, so we open this up, first time it sees oxygen, we pour it on the cotton inside the film canister. Well, it's ammoniating, and what a lot of people do is they'll flip that top back down on it, go eat lunch, go hunting that afternoon, and then they'll pour fresh urine on top of that ammoniated urine. So you're pouring good to bad. So what you want to do is each time you go out is put fresh urine out. Top secret, you can do that. Are you using Top Secret?
Yes, sir. I tried it last year. I used the foam.
Yeah, now the foam's great because you don't have to, that's what I was about to show you. If you use the liquid, Rusty, you need to use the Scent Saver. And the Scent Saver, what this does is you pour the urine inside of the 3-ounce bottle, you plug it, and you pump it out. And what it does, it takes the oxygen back out between using it. So it's ready to go each time you go out to the woods. So each time you open it, it's the first time it sees oxygen. You plug it, pump it back out, no more oxygen.
Right.
So each time you or your dad puts it out, it's fresh. But with the foam, Ryan, you don't need to do that because each time you pump it, it's the first time it sees oxygen.
It sees oxygen.
So what you're doing is right. I just wouldn't put it on my boot. And you can just foam it along. And I tell you something else, Ryan, you can do. You can take, did you use estrus or buck?
Estrus.
All right. Folks, that's what he's talking about right there. That's 8 ounces of estrus. It's got 300 pumps in it and $19.95 retail.
Yep.
But now, Ryan, do you use a grunt call?
Actually, I haven't tried the grunt. Last year was the first year in probably a decade that I've gotten into it as much as I have.
Let me tell you what you do.
I'll probably try it next year. I just haven't.
Get you a grunt call, and we don't make grunt calls. There's a lot of good grunt calls out there, good manufacturers. Get you a good grunt call you feel comfortable with. But when you grunt, the advantage of grunting is a deer could be walking down that wall over there, and down the clear cut from you, or down the edge of the field in the timber. You never know they're there. But if you grunt, it's going to put him downwind. Because grunting says another buck's tending a doe. Who's doe? Rusty's doe. Rusty,
like that.
He ain't happy about that. So Rusty's going to go downwind. Grunting, Ryan, grunting simply puts a deer downwind. Now the reason I say that is that he needs to smell buck urine. Grunting is an infringement. Are you married?
Yes.
All right. You come home after this, you go to a football game tonight and come home after the football game and you walk in your bedroom, lights are out, and you smell Old Spice cologne. You're not happy, are you?
No.
No. No man would be. So what happens is when you grunt, that buck goes downwind. It's called fleaming. He'll turn his head up and he's got a little diamond-shaped gland, top palate of the mouth, Rusty. Sole purpose of that, Ryan, is to read urine. So when you grunt, you may not even see him. He's going downwind to fleam. Curl his upper lip like a horse would do. What he's trying to smell is not estrus. He's not trying to smell estrus, but he's trying to smell buck.
Okay.
Let me give you an example of that. That'd be like you're married, you come home, you smell Old Spice, and you flip the light on and see your wife. You're not looking for your wife, are you? You're looking for Old Spice. So what happens is, that's what grunting does, but watch. If you take the buck urine and take the estrus and do just what you're doing, but don't put it on your boot, just walk from your truck to the stand, foam buck, estrus, buck, estrus, you got a buck chasing a doe. Now you're doing exactly what you're grunting. So this year, do what you're doing, and look, we'll post the seminar schedule, and we've got a bunch of them coming up, and we'll start doing seminars all over the country about mid-July. And I think we're up in Canton, if my memory serves me correct, but we'll post it. I think we're up there in September. So, man, we'd love to see. How far are you from Canton?
Oh, I want to say I'll ask.
How far?
We said about an hour and a half.
Oh, about an hour and a half?
An hour and a half or
Well,
so.
man, if it's not too far and you get it on your schedule, man, we'd love to see you in person and talk to you one-on-one. Well, look, we appreciate you calling in. Tell your dad to call in as well and get you some top secret. And, hey, listen, don't forget about your reserve. It's open enrollment on the big bottle to be a club member. You can hit the website and go to it and join tonight, and you can say, hey, we want to be a club member, and we'll ship it to you this coming fall. So you can actually sign up now, and we'll ship it to you in the fall. Hey, Ryan, appreciate you calling in, man. Tell your dad we said hello. Come see us in Canton. You bet. Guys, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and let me get rid of that. You're in there doing that to us, Rusty. That means hang that phone up. Folks, we'll be right back right after this commercial. I forget that.
Repel and kill the bugs that bug you most with the all-natural 100% deep-free BioShield.
You've waited your whole life for this moment. Don't spoil your opportunity because of poor preparation. Keep your optics clean and fog-free for a clear shot every time. Fog Zero.
All righty, folks, we're back, and look, we're going to try to knock out a few more Facebook questions.
It looks like Colin
Crevel
from Clymer, Pennsylvania.
You can't make that up. Clever from Clymer. All right, what kind of question does Colin have tonight?
He says, during the pre-rut stage, what is the best tactic to find and take inventory of your bucks when you can't use bait or minerals?
You're going to find those, Colin, you're going to find whether you're in Pennsylvania. Now, the problem you have in Pennsylvania, I don't know what county he's living in, but the number one problem they've got in Pennsylvania, you know what it is? Pressure. They got over 1 million people in the woods. Do you realize the opening day of gun season in Pennsylvania, there's more men with guns than any standing army in the world?
Yeah, they got 1 million too.
That's a lot of folks, and it looks like a pumpkin patch. And hey, Colin, you know what I'm talking about. But to answer your question is, during pre-rut, bucks are in bachelor groups. They're going to be running together, various ages. But if you want to know where they are, it's easy to tell by the rub lines in the secondary scrapes. You're going to have the little, what I call frustration scrapes. And Rusty, you can tell that, and that's not only true in Pennsylvania, it's everywhere, in Alabama, wherever they are. You know, you're also going to be finding them around food sources, but bucks are more concerned with does. They're running together during that time, and you'll find the rub lines, and you'll start to find them little secondary scrapes. And that's not only true in Pennsylvania, but it's true anywhere in the country. But what Colin has is that additional problem of pressure. And bless his heart, Pennsylvania is it's a great state to hunt, but my gracious, do you have a lot of people up there hunting. All righty, let's see, we going to another Facebook, guys? All righty, who else we got there?
Looks like David Morin from Springvale, Maine.
Look at this, Pennsylvania and Maine, all right?
Says, what's the best scent to use during the post-rut when temps are freezing? And what is the best way to use it if there is snow
covering the ground? All right, David, that's he's asking the question, what's the best scent to use during post-rut? All right, give an example. We're in actually the peak of the rut here in Alabama, but we're starting to fastly start winding down. All right, and so And the rule of thumb you want to do, David, and everybody, is once a buck starts chasing, first of all, you use buck urine every day of the year. David, buck urine every day of the year. You hear us preach that on this show. Buck urine, buck urine, buck urine every day of the year. It's going to start good. It's going to get better. They're in bachelor groups. Any bucks coming to it. David, once you get to peak of the rut, he's making those master bedrooms, those primary scrapes, underneath the overhanging limb, Rusty. Then you want to add estrus. You don't quit using the buck. You start using estrus. Then you keep using those two all the way to the end of season. Even in the post-rut period, you still want to use estrus. And here's why. The peak of the rut's broken into 3 periods. You got pre, which is exactly what David's talking about there. Then you have, he's talking about post-rut. You got pre, peak, post. Pre-rut, bucks are in bachelor groups. Just before the peak of the rut, you start having some does come in. Peak means, Rusty, that's when the majority of them are standing, so there's does everywhere. Then in post-rut, those does that didn't get bred during peak will recycle and come in, and those does that didn't get bred are coming in, and so there's only a few. So there's more competition for just before the peak of the rut and right after or post-rut period because there's not enough does to go around. So that's a great time, David, to grunt, and depending on your buck-doe ratio, you're in Maine, you're more grunting than rattling there, but man, I'd flat be grunting and use your buck and your estrus, Rusty, all the way to the end of the season. And as far as if the snow's covering the ground, that doesn't make any difference. People say, well, you know, what if it freezes? Folks, here's what I tell you to do. A deer lives by his nose 365 days a year. Think about this. If you pour urine on top of the snow, and all of you boys and girls have done this, they tell you don't eat yellow snow. And listen, think about that, Rusty. What color do they tell you don't eat?
It's the yellow snow.
The yellow snow, not the dark snow.
Right.
Yellow snow. By the way, top secret is a clear yellow. That's fresh urine. Now then, so as you do that, you pour it on top of the snow. It don't matter if it's on the snow or not, things smell it. I had old boy ask me one time, well Don, what if it freezes? Will top secret freeze? You bet it will.
Yeah.
It's natural, it's going to freeze. Well, they say a deer can't smell it. I want you to get you some of this, and I want you to pour it in an ice tray and put it in your refrigerator, deep freeze, and let it freeze. And you take it out and tell me not you can smell it.
I didn't see what Mama does to you.
You better be doing it outside. They can still smell it, guys, even if it's frozen. Obviously, not frozen is better, but they can still smell it even if it's frozen. But David, don't worry about it. If snow's covering the ground, you put it out just like you normally would. That snow's still going to hold that scent, and because that deer is urinating in the snow as well. He's still marking and urinating, communicating, whether it's ice, snow, whatever. No matter how bad the weather, deer are still voiding. They're still communicating.
And you can still smell it.
You can still smell them. So, you know, all that stuff's a myth, guys. You just need to use it consistent. Let's see, guys, we got time for another one. All right, let's see. We got Ronnie Streetman.
Ellaville, Georgia.
Ellaville, Georgia. Now look here. Pennsylvania, Maine. Now we're down here in the South. We're covering the country.
We even had one in Alabama. Right?
Yeah, that's right. We started off at home, didn't we? Okay. Ronnie wants to know, I'm seeing a lot of rubs in the area, but no scrapes. What would be my best tactic in hunting late season in Georgia? Again, late season, I'm assuming toward the post-rut of the winding down, but you're not seeing the scrapes. You still, first of all, you want to be using buck and estrus winding down. That's trailing in. And guys, if you're in a situation like that, if you're not seeing sign, and he's saying that I'm seeing a lot of rubs but no scrapes, well, you know, those deer are making rub lines, so they're traveling that area, and if you don't see any scrapes, man, I tell them all the time, Rusty, get you some buck urine, make you a scrape. Make you a scrape. Look, that whole boy don't know that if you take a limb, not your foot, And we did this with Ben Lee on a video called Hunting the Rut with Ben Lee and Don Bales, one that plays taps. And we took a limb and we just went, it was a great setup for a tree and the trail. And we just took a limb, dug it out like a scrape, Rusty, and put the buck urine and the estrus in it. We got a scrape.
Yeah.
It's already,
He
don't know the difference. He's already on the rub line and get up and grunt. The grunting is going to get them activity moving. The scent's going to make them come downwind to come in. So Ronnie, try that, and if you're in late season, in fact, for that matter, Rusty, late season or pre-rut, that'll work. You especially making mock scrapes in pre-rut, early season, but that same philosophy applies in late season. If you got the rubs and you don't have the scrapes to go along with that. Let's see here. Did you say we have room for one more? All right. Let's see. We got Ken Harris.
Headland, Alabama.
Headland, Alabama. How important is it to use buck urine when rattling?
Very.
Very. You gonna rattle? The wind's going this way. Which way is it gonna go?
Going downwind.
Downwind. Grunting and rattling are territorial infringements. When you get up in a tree and you take horns, in this case, I use a rattling bag. A lot of people and guys pay attention to that. Horns, real antlers, are better than this. Common sense says real's better than this. This is safer. Most people that's got them, they got a string tied to them, they throw it over their shoulders and they're walking in the woods. Guess what's hanging on that? That's a no-no. You got horns walking through the woods. You don't want to do that. This is just as good, but listen. What that does is telling Rusty over there that two bucks are fighting or they're sparring. And you don't have to clang them. Rattling is almost a misnomer, Rusty. Down here in South Alabama, tomorrow afternoon, I'm just telling you, tomorrow afternoon I'm going to be in the woods. If I were to get up there and I clang them horns together, I could run a decent little buck off. You can bring the same big boy in just by tinkling the tines. He don't care if it's two teenagers in there fighting over his wife or his doe as two big bucks fighting.
It's just the fact that they're in there.
It's not who, but where. And so tinkling the tines is an infringement. Grunting is an infringement. He goes downwind. The reason he goes downwind is he wants to smell what, Rusty? He wants to smell. He's trying to verify. You whipped his ears, 3 defenses, ears, eyes, nose. Most important, nose. Downwind. He wants to smell. What he needs to smell is buck urine. And Ken, that's terribly important to do. That's the reason we tell you use buck urine every time you go in the woods. Even once you start seeing bucks and working scrapes and working bucks chasing does, you still use the buck urine to be more effective grunting and rattling. You're going to be way more effective grunting and rattling by using buck urine. Folks, try it. You'll hear it. You hear these people calling in. You hear the testimonies of this happening. You got to use buck urine if you want to be really effective anywhere in this country, grunting and rattling. Let's see, folks. Okay, we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we're going to do this bad boy all over again and see if we can get some more people calling in. Be right back.
From Don Bell, the founder of Code Blue, comes Top Secret Reserve Doe Estrus, the finest doe estrus ever collected. Top Secret oxygen-free collection process is a complete generation above Code Blue. Our patent-pending collection process means no ammonia and no ammonia smell. At a limited quantity of 12,000 bottles, only 0.1% of hunters will be lucky enough to add Top Secret to their arsenal. Visit TopSecretDeerScent.com today and join the 0.1% club.
All right, folks, listen. We're fixing to do something that our Tom, our director right here, Tom's fixing to come down right here between us. And he's going to tell you a story, what his wife said, and we'll let you, we introduced a new product, and you see it in the commercials playing called Scent Defense. Folks, 3-in-1, it's going to be a game changer out there in killing human odor. Kills human odor with using silver copper synergy. It also repels fleas, ticks, mosquitoes, bed bugs,
Other biting insects.
other biting insects, plus it's an attractant. Tom, come in here and tell the folks what happened to you
All
this
right,
week.
let me get comfortable here.
All right, tell the folks what happened to
Can
you.
you hear me?
He's a fine-looking man.
right,
Look at that!
all right,
Look at that
good,
little
good.
head right there.
Well, I gotta tell this story.
All right, tell your story.
I love my wife. We've been married about 26 something years. I'm probably in trouble already.
Oh, yep, you
Yeah.
just did it.
She's watching too, baby.
We went to the ATA show, and I snuck a bottle.
Can you guys hear good in there? All right, go
I
ahead.
snuck a bottle, Don. I'm sorry, I got in trouble once
All right,
already.
got you some
I'm
shampoo.
gonna get in trouble. I'm gonna get in trouble.
Got a lot of hair to wash.
Yep. So I got the body wash. I didn't tell my wife, and I'm sneaking it in the shower. I've been using it every day. And so she comes out last night before, and she says, "All right, sweetheart, we gotta have a talk. Something's wrong." I said, "Oh, what is it, darling?" "Well, you don't smell right." And I'm thinking, I did good, right?
Yeah, you did good.
I've been told my whole marriage, you stink, take a shower. You smell like garlic, you smell like grease. So I'm the perfect husband now. And then she says, "Well, the problem is I'm not going to be standing till I can smell my butt." So you can have your bottle.
Well, and the difference is, folks, what he was using is the new scent defense. Now, what's crazy about this is, we just found out about this today. Tom come in telling us about his wife, and she is watching. She is watching you. But folks, it's true, because what this does, what we've done is taken silver, and we have mixed silver with copper, and we found out that when you mix copper with silver, it makes copper real mad like a souped-up wildcat, and it makes it way more aggressive at killing bacteria that causes odor, at killing Tom's odor. And now, folks, listen, there's a lot of truth to this. Ask your wife. Well, don't even have to ask your wife. You know that your wife, you can tell the smell of your wife. You know, you can get around her, or her cologne, or just each person has their unique smell, and you know it. And so what this product does, it takes that human smell out of the factor, and she could tell she could tell something was different with Tom.
He didn't smell right.
And folks, you can't make this stuff up. And listen, try it. In fact, it's live on the website now, even though it's the 2015 season, still in Alabama and Florida. So we got people using this stuff. And guys, listen, try it. It's called Scent Defense. It's going to be big this year. It'll be airing on all the networks. Outdoor Channel, Sportsman's Channel,
and
Pursuit Channel, and we're really excited about it. It's going to be a game changer, and not only will Tom's wife can't smell him, but that big buck can't smell him as well, and can't smell you, and you'll be able to get a shot on him. All righty, folks. Let's see where we're going, guys. We're going to we're trying to knock these Facebook questions out. We're a little behind on them. All right, who we got there? We got Joe Narot Adams, Wisconsin. Let's see here, Don. What is your favorite product to use out of your lineup, and why? I don't even have to ask this. Watch this. Rusty, what's the number one product I like to use?
It's buck.
Buck urine. Buck urine. Folks, I'm telling you, if you put a gun to my head tomorrow and said, you got one chance to kill a buck, or I'm going to shoot you, I'll take buck urine over estrus. First of all, I can use it over the entire season. I can rattle with it. I can grunt with it. It's going to start good, and as season progresses, it's going to be more aggressive coming to it.
You put it in a scrape.
Same buck urine. It's like smelling Old Spice at Walmart at lunch, or CVS at the drugstore, and going home and smelling Old Spice tonight when I walk in the house after this show. One, I'm not mad. The other one, I'm mad. And it doesn't matter. It's not what I smell.
It's where you smell it.
When and where I smell it. It's not who or how big, it's where. So, folks, look, you don't care if you get home tonight and you find a 16-year-old or a 50-year-old. It's not who, but where that matters. So, Joe, without a doubt, my number one product as far as scent is buck urine. Now, I'm going to use estrus once he starts chasing the does, and we're just talking scent. This new stuff we're talking about, scent defense, guys, I'm telling you, we have said on this show, we're assuming that you guys are killing your human odor to be able to get in the woods. Now you not only can kill your human odor to get in the woods, but you can also protect yourself from fleas, ticks, mosquitoes, bed bugs even. Any kind of biting insect. So guys, it's new, plus it's an attractant. And when no deer come into it, even spotted fawns, Rusty, they come in with their tongue kind of licking over the nose like that. It's pretty neat stuff. Okay, let's see. Let's take another one real quick. Don McRae from
Minnesota City.
Minnesota. Well, we're just all over the place. Which type or style of boot is best for staying scent-free during entry and exit, leather or rubber? Rubber. And rubber doesn't hold the scent. Leather does. And, you know, and I tell you something else you can do, folks, with our stuff. Our stuff is a 3-pronged system. Let's see, Rusty. You have, guys, you have the shampoo. You're getting ready, let's go hunt tomorrow. We're going to take a bath. You're going to wash your clothes. You're going to wash your clothes to go hunting. You're going to take a shampoo and bath just like old Tom did. And then he didn't use much of that on shampoo. Go a long ways with Tom. Then you got spray. Now all of you guys know to use this system of washing your clothes, taking a bath, now the spray to go in the woods. Now the reason I'm saying this, Rusty, is Don, even with your boot, what a lot of people do, they'll spray this, but it's only good on your boot where you hit it. And so what you got to do is you got to be able to get all of that rubber. What I do a lot of times, guys, I'll take that right there, or you can even take the shampoo. You can take either one of these two products. You mix this up, put it in like a dish pan, something with a top on it. Just set it down by your truck. When you get ready to go hunting, you simply get out of the truck. You're completely out of the truck. You take one foot, you stick it in, take it out, take the other foot, stick it in. Now you have everything submerged one time. So all of your boot, the bottom of your boot up to your ankles covered. Hey, you don't want to go but ankle high. In and out, you're ready to go hunting. And you use this for everywhere else. Now if you don't do that, you certainly want to spray all your boot down with that. But get you a tray, put it in that, and just stick your feet in it. You're good to go. Everything about your foot's covered. Bottom, top, sides, everything's done. You're ready to go. So Don tried that this year, but hey, without a doubt, a rubber boot. Okay, guys, let's see here. We got, well, okay, we can keep knocking some of these out. Let's see who we got there. We got
Brian Murray from Rockford, Michigan.
We're staying up in the Midwest. Folks, I want you to notice as we go through these, how many states that these people are calling in from and are Facebooking. And we appreciate this. We really do. We thought this show would be popular. It is. And by the way, we're fixing to start tagging this onto all of our commercials. In 2015, Portland Outdoors with Top Secret and Scent Defense, BioShield, and Fog Zero, we will have almost 22,000 spots on all three networks. That is, and all of it's live on the website tonight, and they can actually, that's almost 2.5 spots an hour, Rusty. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Somebody asked us who we're telling.
Everybody.
We're telling everybody, folks. We're excited about the products we got that you're going to be able to get and go kill you some good animals with. Brian, let's see. Brian's got a question out of Rockford, Michigan, and he's asking, during the heat of the rut, would it be best to use a doe decoy or with doe urine or with buck decoy with buck urine? During the heat of the rut, which he's talking peak, without a doubt, get you a doe, put your estrus on the doe. Now, having said that, you can depends on where you are and what you're doing. If you're just, if it's during the peak and they're running everywhere, you can put a doe out there, cock that tail, put the estrus on it, and you can have a big time. But at the same time, if during the rut you're hunting a scrape, you can take a buck decoy, take one side off, here you go, Rusty. Take one side off, his horns is up there like this. Looks stupid, don't it? Take one side of the horns off, and it looks like he's had his butt kicked. So now when you use buck urine, any buck could come to that decoy because they think, That old boy's done had his butt kicked. Can't you see them little young bucks out there going, hey, watch this, watch this.
I'll get that old guy.
I'll go in there and get a piece of him. Only because they think he's already had his butt kicked. So during the peak of the rut, if you're hunting scrapes, take you a buck urine, take your buck decoy. You haven't got to take that rack off, but I like to because any buck will come into it, so you got the activity. You can also use a doe decoy. A doe decoy. You can tell it's late. A doe decoy. Of course, I'm Alabama anyway. A doe decoy with estrus on it. Now, Brian, if you really want to have some fun, and I know some of you've done that out there, and what I want you guys to do is to do this, send us the footage, and we'll air it for you. And now if you guys aren't going to do it, we're going to have to do it. Go get you a buck decoy, a doe decoy, or, no, let's not wait a minute, get back. Get you a buck decoy and put you some estrus urine on it.
I'll confuse them a little bit.
It ain't right. And you watch that old boy come into that buck decoy, and he's looking at that old boy, and his nose is telling him it's a doe. His eyes is saying it ain't so. And he'll come in and he'll look at that decoy every way a buck can look at a decoy. And finally, you'll see him do this, Rusty. He'll look around and he'll look. See if anybody's watching.
See if his buddies are watching.
You'll see him watching. He'll take his hat off and go, whoo, and he'll go right on in there, and you'll see him mount that buck decoy. Because his nose will override his eyes. This keeps him alive. You can whip this by rattling, grunting. You can whip that with a decoy. This keeps his butt alive. This was what keeps him alive, folks. So, Brian, use your doe decoy with estrus, buck with buck, or if you really want to have some fun, get you some doe estrus and put it on a buck decoy. And I'm not lying to you, folks. It's a hoot. You'll just sit there. You don't even want to shoot him because you feel sorry for him. You feel sorry for the unless he's a good buck, and then it's just tough. At that point,
That's right.
He's bit the dust. It was a bad day for him. Folks, listen, stay tuned. We'll be right back. We're going to take a quick commercial break. And when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more. Be right back. That it would be a bad day.
You've waited your whole life for this moment. Don't spoil your opportunity because of poor preparation. Keep your optics clean and fog-free for a clear shot every time. Fog Zero.
Repel and kill the bugs that bug you most with the all-natural 100% deep-free BioShield.
Rusty, folks, look, we're coming back after that commercial break. You saw two commercials there real quick. One is, and both of these new brands. Just to introduce these brands at ATA, one is Fog Zero. Now look, all of you that use scopes, binoculars, rangefinders, deer cameras, eyeglasses, anything that fogs, this will stop it. This is called Fog Zero. And that bad boy right there, it comes into 3 different places. Let me get up here to the camera, guys, where you can see this. You guys there tell me. See the pin? That's $12.95. This will stop any optic from fogging. Everybody out there, you know that if you've ever hunted and you threw that rifle up to hunt or throw those binoculars up and that breath's coming up out of that heated body, it's going to fog, especially eyeglasses. You know that. This will stop that for you. A little over 100 usages, and watch what it does. This thing for $12.95, you have the usage of it. You just simply make an X on the glass, the optic. It also has a dust brush with it. It also has a buffing pad with it. See it right there? And it also has your microcloth inside of it here, and this you are able to use, and it shows it as you can bring it out and you can use it over and over and over. You simply put it back in and push it in and you're good to go. $12.95, Rusty, and it'll stop you from having to worry to get that shot in that commercial's perfect. You see him throw up and you can't hardly see him. You fog it, get it to where it won't fog you, throw it up, you got clarity. It's a clear shot, and you can make that shop every time with Fog Zero. Brand new, $12.95. You want to put one in your satchel, one in the truck, hey, one in your car going to work, in your briefcase. Keeps everything optic, any kind of optic and glass keeps it from fogging. Also in that quick commercial you saw BioShield. Now folks, this is the repellent that's brand new. All the turkey hunters is getting ready to go turkey hunting. This you want to use with you. It stops fleas, ticks, mosquitoes, bed bugs, any kind of biting insect, all natural. You can put it on your hands, all over your face. Deep free, no kind of chemical in it. You literally can put it on your hands and put it on your face. You can put it on your child, folks. It's completely safe. But we went an extra mile. Not only do we have it in the spray, but we also have it in a body wash and a laundry detergent. That's right, you know to use this in killing human odor, the system of body wash, washing your clothes, and carrying it in the woods with you to spray, topical spray. Now it's available in a bug repellent. First time ever. This is a game changer. Turkey hunters, there's no reason to fight them bugs anymore and those mosquitoes trying to call that bird in. When you can sit there, take a bath, great smell. It's got sort of like a citric smell to it. It's great. You'll want to use it every day. Mama will wash the clothes for the kids every day. All you that work outside and you're in the woods or you're cutting grass or whatever, kids going to school, don't have to worry about it anymore. Folks, it's called BioShield. You're seeing it on all 3 networks, and it's available tonight in your store or on our website. It's live tonight, right, Tom? And you can get it. We want to show you a little buck here that, little buck's good buck, that Mike Burklow killed up in Wilcox County, and I want you to notice what he's using right there. And Mike killed this buck yesterday, and we were trying to get Mike and Steve on tonight, and they just couldn't get high enough in that pine tree to call us. The truth of the matter, they may still be on a tree stand out there.
Still may be.
But notice what he did. He used the system of scent defense. He used the spray, and he used the buck and the foam. So folks, get you some of this stuff. You still can do it in Alabama, and you can do it in Florida. And guys, all of you that wants the reserve, Rusty can hit the website tonight. It's open enrollment. You can get it. Buy your big bottle reserve, and you can get it and use it for next hunting season, and we'll ship it when you want it.
And it's a one-time pay or a
four-time
play?
You can do it, pay over 4 payments and say, hey, ship that bad boy to me October 15th, November. Whenever you want it, we'll ship it. Only 12,000 bottles of that for 12 million deer hunters. Folks, we're excited about hunting the Rut Hotline. It's doing what we think it would do. We get to talk to all these good people. And folks, just look at the people all over the country calling in and Facebooking. And we do apologize. We almost stay in a backlog. We try to catch up every few weeks on the Facebook. Guys, how big a dent did we put them in tonight? We didn't get caught. We did, yeah, but we're trying to put a dent in it. Do we have time for a couple more quick ones? All right, let's see. Let's try to get one. Look here. Let's finish up with Ohio and Texas.
All right, we got Mike Wright from Ripley, Ohio. He says, do strange seasonal warming weather trends affect the rut in any way? Temperatures have been far above normal where he's at. Well,
historically, people would tell you yes, only in the fact that, a doe's going to go and peak of the rut regardless, but the intensity of it, the colder it is, the better. Mm-hmm. But look at it. Guys, what's the temperature going to be here tomorrow? 58? Well, tomorrow evening. 30. I think it's 58 degrees is the high tomorrow. 32 tonight, 58 degrees. So, Mike, we're going to be hunting at 58 degrees this weekend, and those bucks are running them does. So they're still going to come in, but the intensity, the colder it is, the friskier, the friskier they are, and the more activity you're going to see. But you're still going to see it, and we're seeing it. And that buck right there was killed doing the same thing, just like the buck we showed you at the opening of the show. The young man Daniel killed his first buck. Them bucks was running does. So, and it's about 50, 55 degrees then last weekend. So that's going to happen. Let's see. We got Jerry Lane from Lavernia, Texas. We butchered that, didn't we?
Yeah.
You butchered that.
Hey, somebody's got to take it.
That's right. What's the question?
When hunting the rut, I was wondering if using scent would be all that is required to lure deer, or would you need a mock scrape or something like that?
Yeah, you can use scent. You literally can just track trail scent in and get up in the woods and grunt. If deer is around, they're just going to put them downwind to come into you. But Jerry, obviously, if you can get in on top of rub lines, Rusty, or scrapes, or mock scrapes, or primary scrapes, you know that they're there. Yeah. You're visually seeing the signs, Jerry. That helps. But during pre-rut, if you can't find any rub lines or you can't find any scrapes, I like to hunt where I found rubs last year. If you're along a field and you found rub lines there last year, along a logging road, or where there's a transition between a clear cut and tall timber, any of those kind of things, and there's not any activity, I like hunting that. Because they're going to be there. Even if you ain't got the signs, they're traveling that, and so use it there. But again, Jerry, don't be scared to make you a mock scrape.
Yeah.
And what product should they start off with?
Buck urine.
Buck urine. And folks, we started the season with it. We're into the season with it. And you can find all of these products, guys. Jerry and everyone we've talked to tonight and all the Facebook and everybody listening in, you can get all these products tonight on our Facebook page, our website. And which site would be the best to? You can go to huntportland.com. If you want to see all the brands, you can go to huntportland.com, and you can see Top Secret, and you can see Fog Zero, Scent Defense, and BioShield, or you can go to topsecretdeerscent.com. Folks, listen, it's amazing. An hour goes by quick. We're already ran over an hour, and folks, we are going to catch up on the Facebook. We appreciate you calling in. Appreciate you sitting in for Steve. Steve's going to climb down out of that. He ain't climbing out of no pine tree. That rascal's probably still up in the tree somewhere. He's out there watching us, probably laughing at us. But folks, he's going to be back next week. If not, you're going to see big old Rusty right here. Again. That's right. And folks, listen, we appreciate you calling in, and we'll see you next week every Thursday night, 7 o'clock Central Time to 8 o'clock Central Time. And we'll talk to you next week. Hey, call your friends and tell them about it. We'll see you next week. Every Thursday.